All right, let's smash some algos. Today we're going to be taking a look at LeetCode 1281. It is an easy algorithm problem. It's called subtract the product and sum of digits of an integer. So we're going to be given an integer, some number, and we need to return the difference between the product and the sum of its digits. So for example, given the number 234, we need to multiply 2 times 3 times 4, that gives you 24. Then we're going to add 2 plus 3 plus 4, that gives you 9. And then we're going to subtract 9 from 24 to get 15. And the output that we want is that number 15. So first of all, I'm going to do a little pseudocoding, some thinking out loud and writing down in plain English what I think the steps are going to be to get from where I start, which is a number, to the desired output. So the first thing I notice is that this number, it's 234, but I want to be able to separate it out into its individual digits. So the first thing that I want to do is create, I want to turn that number into a string so that I can split up the numbers into separate characters, or they would be digits, but they'll be strings. And then once I have the string, then I want a variable to hold the sum and a variable to hold the product or the multiplication. We're going to then want to go through, let's go through each digit in the in the number that's a string, and add and multiply. And then finally we want to return the difference between the multiplied and added digits. Okay, so I think these are the steps of what I need to do. So first of all, I'm going to turn the number into a string. So this n that I'm going to get, I'm going to use the toString method that can be used on numbers to turn them into strings. And then I also want to split each of the digits into units. So what I should get at the end of this is going to be an array of the digits. So let's create a variable, let n array. That sounds good. And then if I log this, oops, I forgot that I can't do my usual shortcuts here. If I log n array here, let's just run this code, and we should at least get that console log. Okay, so here is my console log. So 234 has been turned into 2, 3, and 4, and notice these are in quotes, so they are strings. So what we have here is an array of strings. So then I'm going to go to the next step. Create a variable to hold the sum, so that should be pretty easy. I'm going to use the let variable to hold the sum, and initially I'm going to set it to 0. And then I'm going to create another variable to hold the product. Let product equal, and I'm going to set the product to 1 because whereas with sum I can add any number to 0 and it will be whatever the number is, right? This will alter it. If I multiply something times 0, it will always be 0. So we want to start with 1 because remember we're going to use this to multiply. I wonder if I probably don't need those spaces. Here, let me backtrack there a little bit. Okay, so now I need to go through each digit in our n array. I'll take this out now and do the math. So go through implies iterate through the array. So I want to step through the array and do something with each item in the array. For this, I could use a simple for loop. There are different ways you can iterate over an array, but in this case, I'm going to use a good old for loop. So I'm going to set up the syntax of the for loop, starting with the index at 0. And then it's going to be n array.length. So we're going to iterate over the array length. In this case, it's going to be 3. So it has 3 items in it. And then we're going to increment each time we go through the for loop. Now inside of here, we then want to do the math. So our sum is going to add up an array, whatever the item is in the array. It's going to accumulate into the variable called sum, and then product is going to do the same thing, but it's going to multiply it. And then if I want, I could, let's do it, why not? Let's console.log sum and product. And I'm also going to create a flag so that we can see this. So a flag is, it's what I call the little string that you put in front of whatever it is that you're printing. I'm also using commas so that we can see both of these, the values that are being held in both of these as we go through the for loop. So if I do this and I run it now in our log area, we're going to see first 0 plus 2, the result is going to be 2, and 2 times 1, the result is 2. Then the next one is 3, and it's so the sum is going to be, let's see, what am I doing? Oh, I got this wrong. Look at that. I inverted that, so that is why. It's a good thing I checked it. Okay. Oh. It should be plus equals. Let's try that again. All right. So each new number, it'll give us a new product. 2. Oh, something is gone wrong here. Oh, I forgot something, and that is that this n array, it is a string. It's not a number. So I actually need to turn it back into a number before I can do the math or add them or multiply them. So I'm going to use the method called parseInt, a JavaScript method that allows you to take a string and coerce it into a number. Oh, it's so good that I checked these things. And let's run the code. Let's see if we do better this time. So what we were doing is we were concatenating it instead of actually doing the math. Now that looks much better. Okay, so the first number is 2. When we add 0 to 2, we get 2. When we multiply 1 times 2, we get 2. The next number is a 3. So when we add 2 plus 3, we get 5. When we multiply 2 times 3, we get 6. The next number is a 4. When we take 5 and we add 4 to it, we get a 9. We take 6 and we multiply it times 4, we get a 24. So now our math is looking good. And now we can do the last step, which is to return product minus sum. So we're going to take the 24, we're going to minus the 9, and we should get 15. if we've done things so far so good. Yay! That's good. So let's go ahead and submit it. "60 milliseconds, and not looking too good on that. I have noticed, I've said this before, but the LeetCode time is not dependable. See how I haven't done anything, and yet it's actually significantly worse. Oof. So let's take a look at this and see where could we make it less, how can we speed this up? So first of all, I'm going to take out the comments. That's just an easy win there, since we no longer need those. So I've removed all the comments and any extraneous matter. So let's see. So now when I submit it, I get it running 44 ms, which is 98.47% faster than online submissions for this particular problem, which is really good. So I am happy with that for now. That was pretty fun, a pretty good algorithm just to get to know how to use a for loop, how to do simple sums and multiplications, and how to return the difference from a function. Hope you enjoyed that and smashed it.